But then
He
it
was
was
quite
bad when
rapid.
we had George the Animal Steele was producing the interviews, you know, and he'd be like, "No, that wasn't a very good interview." I'm like, "George, your interview was mine. You're going to critique my stuff? Well, what the hell? No
You know,
business like it."
I'm glad you brought up George because, and I got to find the question. Somebody on here asked about your experiences around George. So if you can enlighten us, Jim, what was it like being around George the Animal Steel?
I got along with George. Yeah, I met him as a real young kid, as Big Jim Duggan back in like '89. Excuse me, '79. I was a young Jim in '89, but yeah, and he was nice to me then. And when I got into the WW, I got along with George pretty well. He lived in Florida, not far from where I lived in Florida, so we see each other on the flights a lot. He was an office guy too, though. You got to understand, there's office and talent, And some people are like, I hate the office guy. That son of a, this is his job, brother. He's a okay guy, but his job, some guys were good at their job. You got to be an asshole, and some guys were very good at it. John Laurinaitis. But you're the axe guy. You're the hard ass. So, but I got along okay with George. You treated him square. He was okay with you, at least with me. I know everybody has their problems with different people. I got along with George.
Another office guy, and I promise we'll get into these other questions. Jim and I are just on a roll right now. Another office guy that I've heard people talk about before, who was working behind the scenes in WWF while you were there, was Nick Bockwinkel as a agent. I think he was. What was it? What was it like being around Nick? Had you ever met him before?
Oh yeah, I know Nick. Nick, I don't think he liked me. He didn't like my style. He thought I was way too much bullshit. Um, didn't like the way I dressed. Didn't like the way I partied with Gordy and Hanson and Brody and Doc and he was a flair type guy, but with a different type of attitude. I didn't get along real well with Nick. Didn't have that much interaction with him, but yeah, we didn't get along. I got the feeling like he always like a Duggan.
Whenever I ask Jake about him, he always refers to him as a pecker checker because apparently he had to watch guys pee for the drug test. I don't know if you ever experienced that with Nick. Feels like a really weird, intimate moment
Well,
with
there
former
was a few of
AWH
those.
guys.
That wasn't a one-time job, man. And a lot, but they paid him a lot. Jake did it for nothing.
I'm gonna send Jake that clip.
Yeah, yeah. He still won't get it.
You're probably not. What did he say?